Sup dudes, welcome back to the channel. We're just out on the dual hub bike. This is the dual hub bike that I built. It's got a Bafang G62 1000 watt rear hub, and it's got a Bafang G60 750 watt front hub. We're taking it out for a rip. And do you guys notice anything new about this bike that you've never seen featured on the channel before? You notice anything? You notice any differences? It might look a little metallic, a little silver. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Introducing the 75 volts. I haven't thought of a name for it yet, but it's 75 volts, right? It's 21S 5P Samsung 40T3 cells. So we got a new 75 volt 20 amp hour battery. So the rear hub is on 75 volts, and it's got the Phaserunner controller. It's not a V6, this is an older one, right? This is an older one that I got. Rear hub is 75 volts, and then the front hub, that is just on a stock 30 amp controller. It's in this pocket. It's on the stock 30 amp Bafang controller, and we're on 52 volts with the front hub, right? So 75 volts, 52 volts. So I used the 75 volt battery just a little bit, just to make sure that it's like working and it doesn't explode and stuff. I made that the other day. It was raining for a couple days and I had all these battery cells laying around, so I figured I'd make a new battery. So it's 75 volts. That is the maximum voltage that you can use with the Phaserunners, with those controllers. So 75 volts is the new 72 volts. You heard it here first, boys. All right, so let's go try this thing out. So one other thing is I didn't put the cycle analyst back on the bars. I only have 2 cycle analysts and I have 3 Phaserunners. So I gotta decide which bikes the cycle analysts go on. I don't really want to buy any more cycle analysts. I don't know. I mean, I've got a couple cycle analysts. I know how they work. They're pretty nice. But I set this Phaserunner up in headless mode without a cycle analyst. So it's just like you have a Phaserunner and you hook a throttle up to it. I don't know. I mean, it's working pretty good. I got my phone up for the speedometer. So the cycle analysts are cool, but I don't know. I got 2 of them and I just don't feel like buying another one. But anyways, so we're cruising on 75 volts. So this is just the rear motor right here that we're doing. Like I said, we got that front one too, so let's do that. Let's do both. Oh, it timed out. We gotta turn the front motor back on. It has a timeout on this display. All right, so front motor engaged. All right, here we go. Oh yeah. Ooh. And so this bike, guys, it holds a special place in my heart. It was my first do-it-yourself e-bike, and I built both of the wheels. I laced both of these motors into rims that I bought from Grintech, and it's just like, we got some hydraulic brakes on here. Like, it just feels really smooth, and I feel confident on it. Oh, been riding this bike for like 3 years now. I'm just barely touching the throttle. Like, I'm barely touching the throttle, and the G62 is going like 25 miles an hour. this is just a cruiser now. I will probably put a cycle analyst back on this bike just so I can see the voltage and how much power I'm using and stuff. But I didn't have time to do it for today, so I wanted to try out Headless with the Phaserunner. I've never tried it without the cycle analyst. I don't know, it seems to work pretty good. So if you don't feel like buying a cycle analyst, you don't have to, but so we got a little bit of a uphill over here. We'll engage the dual motor, the front motor. But I'm not even really using the front motor. I have the G62 set to 2500 watts max. And then I think it's set to 96 phase amps. Oh, I didn't even use the front motor, like I forgot. Because the G62 went up the hill 30 miles an hour. I'm just barely hitting the throttle and it is just like going. I can't really tell if it sounds any different. It doesn't sound much different. Front motor, let's do it. Oh yeah, there we go. I could have gone faster back there, but I didn't want to scare that lady. Oh yeah, dual motors up the hill. I can feel the front motor helping up to about 35. Let's see how fast can that front motor go. Yeah, it seems like the front one can get going about 34. I like having the dual motors on separate throttles. Dual motors can be pretty dangerous. When I had it set up on the cycle analyst, my understanding is cycle analyst only has one throttle. Like you can't. I'm not sure if there's a way to get two separate throttles working with the cycle analyst. So when I had my two dual hubs on one throttle, when I was using that dual controller splitter and my cycle analyst to do it, it was a cool setup because you had your cycle analyst and then everything was combined on that one screen for both of the motors. But there were certain things where like the cycle analyst only does one of them, and so I think that the temperature reading, the cycle analyst only supports one temperature. And then I think, oh man, the front motor turned off again because I'm not using it. But yeah, the cycle analyst, it only supports one thing for like the motor temperature, the speedometer, the throttle, I'm pretty sure. So as far as I know, when you're using that cycle analyst with the dual motors mode, it's nice because the display combines everything, but I don't think there's any way to set it up with two separate throttles where you could control the front motor on a separate throttle from the rear motor. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, maybe there is a way to do that with the Cycle Analyst, but I could never figure that out. So that, I don't know that I'm gonna set two motors up onto that same Cycle Analyst and use that dual controller, the dual controller splitter again. I might email Grintech and ask them about that. Maybe there is some way to do that. I never emailed them and asked them about it. But I think I'm just gonna roll with it this way for a while because I like having the two separate throttles. You want to, the rear motor is what you want to use most of the time, but then if you're like accelerating or going up a hill, you can use that front motor and it just like, it just absolutely takes off. And then in the winter and like going off-road and stuff, the all-wheel helps. A lot of people say that dual motors is kind of a gimmick. In a lot of ways it is. Like, some people, they build a dual motor bike and then they're just kind of like, well, geez, this is dangerous and this isn't what I expected, and I should have just built one very powerful rear motor instead. And I think, yeah, that is true in many cases. Like, it's just simpler and cleaner, and you know, you only have to have one controller and one motor. It would be better just to get one powerful motor and have it in your rear wheel. But, you know, there are some advantages to the dual motors, and I think the thing about dual motors is a lot of the times it's an upgrade, right? Like, people don't like set out and build a dual motor bike from the get-go. Like, they have a bike and it has one motor, and then they want to upgrade it and add a little bit more to it. And you know, you see some dual motor bikes and it seems cool and you want to try it out. So I think that a lot of the times that second motor is like an upgrade. You know, the dual motors, it's like an upgrade that you do to an existing bike where you can make it better and just put a little bit of money into it and upgrade it with another motor and make it better in that way. And you're not necessarily have to like build a whole new separate bike. But I mean, if you want a powerful bike from the get-go, it does make sense to just get one very powerful motor if that's what you want, right? Because all-wheel drive, like, it can be dangerous, especially if you don't, like, if you're unfamiliar with it. Like, the all-wheel drive can be pretty dangerous. The front tire can slip out really easy with these geared hubs. There's not enough weight on the front wheel and it just slips. Like, if I hit the throttle here, that wheel is just spinning, you know? So that's the thing about the front motors, you gotta be careful with it. But it does just accelerate like a bastard, you know, like you just, and for going up hills, it's awesome. Let's go take this thing down the hill and we'll see, hopefully you guys can see what this is saying. We'll see how fast it can get going. I think I might have turned the field weakening off. So there's no field weakening going on. And that's how I got this motor going like 43, 44 miles an hour and faster before. But it seems like it's still got going 40 pretty easily. So I think on 75 volts it can do a good like 40 pretty easy and faster down a hill. Oh, my front one turned off again. 146 down the hill. That was pretty sweet. When I had dual phase runners on it before, with the field weakening going on 72 volts, I think I got going like 48 one time. Oh yeah. We're cruising, boys. Pretty curious because I'm barely hitting the throttle and the rear motor is just going 30 like nothing. I'm curious about how much power I'm actually using because it doesn't seem like much. It's like when you get that G62 on 75 volts, it's like you don't even need a front motor. It's crazy. It's like going up a hill 35 miles an hour and it's probably like a third of the throttle, or like, yeah, it was like a third of a throttle or half throttle. That thing is moving, boys. We can do a little front motor action. Oh yeah, there we go. Actually, I can still feel that front motor when I'm going like 35 miles an hour. That's kind of interesting. It helps out more than I was expecting on when only having the front one on 52 volts. So I mean, I guess if you have a Phaserunner, you might as well get a 75 volt battery. It's not that big of a deal, but it's, I mean, it's, you can kind of notice. look how much I'm hitting the throttle. It's like just absolutely nothing. And it just like takes off. My front one turned off again. I gotta turn off that delay on the front motor because it just keeps turning off on accident. Bug in the face. Ouch. Man, these maxis, these big fat maxis are loud, buddy. Alright guys, we pulled over because the GoPro went dead and I gotta go into the settings on this 600C. So let's see here, we go down to, we go here and then go down to auto off and then change it off there. Alright, because when I wasn't using the front motor and I wasn't hitting the throttle, it kept shutting the whole thing off every 5 minutes. So we got that sorted out. Let's go down to the beach and get these dual motors popping. Oh. It sure is zippy, especially when you do both of them. I get so excited about 75 volts that I forgot that I ordered food, so I maybe should go get that. Hopefully they didn't make it yet. It's a beautiful day to be cruising on 75 volts. We need to get there quick. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. We got a slow poke. Slow poke in this truck. I'm tempted to do the bike lane pass here. That front motor is antsy. It just wants to go. This is a very large hill. A little bit chilly when you get moving. I need something to warm up my belly. Right now. Let's get this thing cooking. As soon as we make this turn here. Oh. Yeah. We got people honking. For no apparent reason. Oh man, really windy. I could use some field weakening right about now. Alright guys, we're back. We're back. And we are much better. Now that I got some sustenance in my belly. Had a moment to collect myself. Let's go see if the white squirrel's out today. Let's see if he's around. He's known to inhabit these parts. He's usually just kind of right around here. I don't see any. Don't see any today. Let's go cruise around on 75 volts. Bugs are out. A lot of them hitting me today. Oh. Man, I needed that sustenance so bad, boys. That was so good. Pedal boy. He was pedaling in jeans. He was an old timer, an old school boy, old school pedal boy. I gotta get a better phone mount. This year is the year where I buy a new phone mount. Mark my words, boys. Oh. Oh. The only thing about no cycle analyst is I don't know how much battery I've used. G62 feels pretty good on 75 volts. Ooh. I mostly just came across the bridge because I want to go flying back down it the other way and see how fast we can get going. So here we go. Got going 40 something. That hill that I went flying down at the beginning of the video is a little bit bigger than that. Man, that sun feels really good. I don't know what the deal is with this helmet today, but it is kind of giving me a little bit of a headache here. Ouch. Like, man, sometimes if your helmet is like slightly too tight, it can really cause problems. Like, I don't know if it's pressure points on your head or what, but oh my goodness. Whew. It is a beautiful day down by the river. Wow, man, I think my helmet was like cutting off the circulation in my head or something. Ouch. That was no bueno. It's like you want your helmet to be tight, but you also don't want it to be squeezing your head, suffocating your brain. GoPro. Alright, you're still going. So the only thing about no cycle analyst is I don't know what my voltage is. I don't know. I don't have a watt meter. I suppose I should get a watt meter that can do 72 volts, and then I would be all set. I just can't buy another cycle analyst. I have 2 of them already. Like, do I need another one? I don't know. I don't feel like it. But you know what I feel like is this 75 volts. Woo! 75 volts on the G62 back there. The front one, I don't know. I mean, you don't really need high voltage on that front motor. 52 is pretty good for the front one, but man, 75 volts feels good in the back. Oh. I've seen on Amazon some of the watt meters support up to 60 volts. But then there's other ones that are slightly more expensive, maybe even the same price, that do support 72 volts. So I gotta get one of those. Man, we are just cruising, like effortlessly cruising. Little baby Samsung, the 52 volt battery is at 52 volts exactly. Oh, it's at 52 volts. It's showing one battery bar is gone out of about 10. Man, these maxis, these fat minions, 26x4 minions, they feel like magnets on the ground. I don't usually ride these in the summer because they're expensive, but man, the traction on these is just insane. Bug in the eyeball. Ouch. There's something about leaning into corners with grippy tires that's just fun. The G62 is on 75 volts, or even 72. You don't really need a front motor. This is kind of unnecessary, but it's fun. It's fun. It's unnecessary, but it's fun. Oh, that was a raucous. That was a raucous, buddy. It's hard to do the hand signals when you're turning and dual motoring. You just have to go. You just gotta go for it. I want to go back and see what the voltage is. Because I have no way to know. Hopefully nothing fell out of my pockets. 50 watts. Rear motor is doing who knows. But we're cruising uphill. We've gone 35 miles, if this speedometer app is to be believed. I gotta get the big smoothie tires on this thing. Yeah. Oh. We're cruising so hard on 75 volts. I love it. I love it. Bugs. I think the 75 volt battery is getting low. We have gone 38 something miles. I'll have to check the voltage when I get back. I mean, that feels about kind of like my normal ride that I would do. 52 volt battery, little baby Samsung is still at 49 volts. So we didn't totally drain that yet. Things are starting to feel slow. Let's see. Is the battery hot? Doesn't seem hot. It's still going. It just doesn't feel as punchy. I'll have to check my settings. It actually feels like it is getting pretty low. The 75 volt battery. Alright, well, I'll ride back home. I'll check the voltage with the multimeter, see what it says. It's a good thing I brought little baby Samsung, because I think I might have got stuck. I went on a pretty long ride there. I don't usually go 40 miles. It's usually less than that. So little baby Samsung is bringing us home. Oh! 75 volt battery. I can barely tell if it's even going. I don't know what I set the battery to cut out to on the Phaserunner. I don't think it's even, is it turned off? I don't know. Alright. I'll show you guys the voltage when I get back. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. 75 volts is the new 72 volts. Little baby Samsung is at 45 volts. Alright guys, just got done. Here's my voltmeter, checking the battery. We're at 56 volts. So, I mean, I think there's still a little bit of juice in there, but when the battery gets basically dead, you can only discharge like 500 watts from it or whatever. So, but yeah. So that's the 75 volt battery. We discharged it down to 56 volts. Got a good ride in. Went close to 40 miles. So like, subscribe, leave a comment. Doesn't seem hot or anything. So seems like it's working good. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.